All right, so this was my first video that I posted on my YouTube channel. So it was how to pass 1Z0-808, which is Oracle Certified Associate Java Programmer SE8. So for Java 8, it's also known as Java Programmer 1. So I took this certification to get me a head start on my WGU degree. I passed this couple months back, and I didn't make this was my first video on it. It was on this YouTube channel was regarding that, but I decided to make a revised version. So I took this class because it covers two courses from WGU's Computer Science program. So it covers D286, which is Java Fundamentals, and C867, which is Scripting and Programming Applications. So passing this cert covers both classes that I just mentioned. So it gets you 6 college credits. So that's why I took it, and I learned a lot from it. So yeah, I'll show you guys how to, give you guys a basic rundown of the exam as well as how to schedule and take it. All right, so the Oracle Certified Associate Java Programmer exam is to give people, breaking into tech a foundation on the Java programming language. So it is meant for beginners, but I will say this is a pretty tough cert. It goes over a couple of different domains in the Java programming language. Like the history of Java. It's what problems it was meant to solve when it was created, as well as the principles of encapsulation, object-oriented programming, inheritance, methods, classes, all that good stuff. Everything you need to know to have a foundation in it. But that being said, it is a tough cert. I will say that it took me about, and I already had a foundation in Java, and it still took me about a month and a half to pass. Anyways, so here we are. Just type in Oracle Certified Associate 8, and it's the first one that pops up right here, Java SC8. Now, Oracle offers a training program, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's just way too overpriced. You don't need to take that. You click on that, and then here it gives you a basic rundown of everything you need to know. So 56 questions, 65% is the passing score, and you got 2 hours to do it. And then again, recommended training. Again, you don't need to buy that. It's extremely overpriced. And then here's everything that you're gonna be tested on. You guys can read through that on your own time. Now, I didn't know this originally. I was a little bit confused, but to buy the exam, you click on buy exam, and then you're going to go down here where it says, right here, Oracle certification exams, Oracle technology exam subscription, one single use exam for a technology or OCI certification. And then you'll click on buy, and then it's $245 for a single attempt. And then this is pretty much tells you what exams are included with this option right here. And this one happens to be on that list. But yeah, you go on buy, and then you buy your voucher and everything. And once you have your voucher, you can go back to the previous page, and from there it's pretty self-explanatory. Just be like schedule your exam, and then you just go from there. So here is cert view. Again, you don't, like I said, the Oracle will give you instructions on how to access this and everything, but this is where you'll get your exam status. So this is Oracle Java SC8 Programmer 1, 1Z0808. I took it back in February, passed. I didn't score too hot on it. I got a 79%, which is not like crushing it, but hey, we got over the line. So that's that. So that's the basic rundown. Now, as for study resources, so I used this book by Cibex, and I'll link it in the description. And then, yeah, I'll just link that in the description. And then as for practice exams, I used what's called Enthuware. So right here, you just type in Enthuware and Java Programming Certification Practice Test and Question. And then it's only $10, and it has practice exams for each of the different Java Oracle exams. I strongly recommend it. I don't think I would have passed the exam without this because the exams on Enthuware are extremely similar to the actual certification exam in terms of difficulty and wording and all that stuff, as well as um, question format and stuff like that. So strongly recommend this. Another resource, I'll have this linked in the description as well. Another resource is WizLabs. So WizLabs is a video learning platform. Oh shoot. And then you can just go on here and then look up Oracle Certified Associate 8, and there'll be a video course for it. Now, what I would say with this, again, and this is me personal preference, I like to use a book as my main resource, but what you can do is, go through the book that I'll recommend, and then just have this video course as a way to like fill in the blanks on things that you may be struggling on. So those were the three main resources that I use. So some honorable mentions are some YouTube channels that I really like. So first one is called Bro Code. I'll have all these linked in the description. So Bro Code, he has a like 12-hour Java course. It's pretty solid, really good. Another one was Coding with John. I liked him as well. And then also another website that I liked is called Geeks for Geeks. And again, I would use this one as well. So those last three resources again, it would be supplemental. Just I would use those to fill in the blanks on things that I need additional studying for. All right. So quick recap. As for my background, so the only background I had prior to doing the certification was a Java fundamentals class that I took from sophia.org. So I did have a little bit of foundation, but nothing too crazy. I was still kind of, going through this certification fairly new. Now, as for study time, I was grinding. So I would say every day I was giving it about 4 to 5 hours. And even then, it took me about a month and a half. This is a tough cert. And I don't think it's so much that the concepts that the cert goes through are difficult. I think it's more just a lot of the questions that the practice exams and the exam itself are very tricky in the sense that they're kind of written in a way to purposely fuck you over. So it definitely takes some getting used to the exam questions as well as the formatting and how to go about answering them. So that was a big component of it too. So yeah, a month and a half. As for resources, there's actually two books. I forgot about one of them earlier, but there's actually two books that I used. Again, I'll have both of them linked in the description. And again, I like to use books as my primary method of learning. So WizLabs and then the Enthuware practice tests. Now, one thing I wanted to say about the Enthuware practice test is that, and you'll see it once you download it. So there's 7 full-length practice exams, so 56 questions each, and then there's exams by domain, by chapter. I would not recommend taking the by chapter exams, and the reason is because all the questions come from the same question bank. So, for example, if you take one of the practice exams on, we'll just say exceptions, and then let's say later on you take a full-length practice test, those questions that you saw on the exception chapter test, you might see them again on the full-length practice exam. And at that point, it's not going to be as effective because you might have the question already memorized. So I would not recommend taking the by chapter exams. Just take the full-length practice exams. And 65% is passing score, so I'd recommend shoot for 80. Shoot for 80, or at very least 75. You can get at least 75 consistently, and you should be scored away on the actual test to at least just pass it. So yeah, Enthuware practice exams. Reddit, always a good source for anything. I always go on Reddit to see what other people did, and they might have some useful piece of information that I didn't cover. So it's always good to get a diverse array of opinions. And then yeah, the honorable mentions. So Coding with John, Bro Code, and then the Geeks for Geeks website is also good to get some additional supplemental learning. So overall difficulty on this course. This course was tough. Again, I don't think the concepts itself were that bad. It was just, again, the questions are designed to screw you over, and they test you a lot of edge cases that you probably never thought of before. So It takes a while to really get used to the format of the exam and get proficient at it. But again, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. But yeah, it's a solid exam. I learned a lot from it. I got a good foundation in Java, and then of course it covered 2 classes for me for computer science. But that's all I got. Talk soon. And then yeah, of course. Oh yeah, any questions? Feel free to leave them in the comments.